Have you ever thought about peace not as something that just happens, but as something you can actually build? Well, today we're going to dive into that very idea, how to construct peace, one piece at a time.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if peace wasn't just the absence of noise, but a real structure, something you could design and build and maintain all on your own? And this image, wow, it just nails the feeling, right? This is our goal. We're going to explore how to build what our source material calls a golden bridge, a real connection of understanding that leads us somewhere better. Okay, so before we can start building that incredible bridge, we've got to figure out what's standing in our way. The source calls this the broken wall. Let's take a closer look at what gets in the way of real peace. So, our source material breaks this down with a really simple but honestly super powerful story. It's all about three kids, Zara, Ahmed, and Bala, who just stop playing together. There wasn't some huge fight, but this quiet, invisible, broken wall of misunderstanding just sort of grew up between them. And this right here, this is kind of what that broken wall feels like. It's a separation. The kids aren't yelling at each other anymore, but they're not really friends either. They're just apart. And this situation leads to a very specific kind of peace. The source calls this negative peace. And, this distinction is so important. It's not war, sure, but it's not real harmony. It's like when you sweep a bunch of dirt under the rug. The room looks clean, but the mess is definitely still there, just hidden. There's no trust, no friendship. So, if the broken wall is that unstable, negative piece, what are we actually building towards? Let's talk about the goal, making that leap from just a lack of fighting to a state of genuine harmony. Okay, let's put these two ideas side by side because this really clears things up. On one hand, you've got negative peace. No open fighting, but a total lack of trust. Its symbol is that wall. But what we're aiming for is positive peace. This is active, it takes understanding, cooperation, it builds strong relationships, and its symbol, the golden bridge. And this is what positive peace looks like in action. It's something you create together. It's colorful, it's intentional, and it actually connects two sides that used to be separate. It's a bridge built from positive actions, not just silence. So you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds nice, but why does it really matter? Why put in all that effort to build this bridge when we could just settle for the quiet of a broken wall? Well, the source gives us three huge reasons, and they're pretty compelling. First, real positive peace actually prevents violence and instability from ever coming back. Second, it's the only environment where real progress can happen, in our schools, our jobs, our communities. And third, and this is a big one for all of us, it just brings more happiness and way less stress into our lives. All right, so we get the what and the why. Now for the really important part, the how. How do we actually start building this thing? Well, the source lays out a simple toolkit with 4 actions you can literally start using today. Here they are, 4 simple, but man, they can be transformative steps. First up, listen before you judge. Second, be fair, and this is a big one, stand up for other people who aren't being treated fairly. Third, actively look for people who are being left out and invite them in. And fourth, learn to forgive and solve problems with words, not with more conflict. But here's the key, the really crucial part. It's about turning these ideas into actual, real commitments. In the story, this is exactly what the kids did. They wrote down their promises on little strips of paper. Things like, I will listen, or I will stand up for others. It made their intentions real, tangible. And that brings us right to the end here, and really the most important part of this whole thing. How do you lay that first piece of your own bridge? How do you make that commitment real for yourself? There's this one detail from the story that I just love. Even Bala, the kid who was feeling left out and was part of that broken wall, he took a step. He wrote down his own promise and added it to the bridge. It's such a powerful reminder that it doesn't matter where you're starting from, everyone has a part to play. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea from the source material. Peace isn't just about stopping fights. It's an active process. It's a structure built piece by piece from deliberate acts of kindness, understanding, and fairness. And so that leaves us with one last question to think about. After all this,
What's that one small promise, that one simple action that you're going to choose to be the very first piece of your golden bridge?